Alright guys, so here she is. Good old not so big Rhonda is what I call it. But to this guy, big Rhonda.
Big Rhonda.
So it's a 1985 Chevy K20 pickup truck. Took me about roughly 5-6 months to finish. So we got a 12 valve Cummins. It's obviously P pump, as you guys can see. It has a 215 pump in it, 4K Gulf Springs, number 10 fuel plate, full travel AFC. I use a 3-foot interchangeable throttle cable here, and it hooks right up to the factory Chevy pedal, goes right to the P pump. We got a dual battery system, pretty easy. The only thing you got to do is just find the driver's side battery tray. Came stock in Chevys, but they're getting harder to find. And then just run it over to where most of you are going to probably have a factory battery tray on the passenger side here. And then for the rad support, it's always a tricky one. Guys really don't show you too much on how they typically build them and whatnot, but clearly you guys can see I got the factory Dodge fan. I got the factory Dodge fan shroud with the overflow reservoir. It is a second gen Dodge rad with the second gen Dodge intercooler that is in the grill. Now make sure, now what I do is I cut them to fit and then I re-support around, because now you take away the factory Chevy supports, you got to come in and re-support it, or else when you run something like a dual battery system or something along the lines, it kind of, you lose that extra support right there in the middle. So make sure you guys re-add those in. For transmission and whatnot, we used a NV4500. This truck was originally an automatic, as you can see, but now it's a standard. I just made up my own little I cut the floor to fit the shifters, and then I just made up my own plate there. You can cut the floor more. This truck has a body lift in it, so you don't have to cut too much to clear that NV45. But if you don't want to run a body lift and you're running an NV45, you're either going to have to put the body lift in, or you're going to have to cut more of that trans tunnel and rebuild it up. For the foot pedal, what I end up doing is, hold on, let me grab a light here, guys. What I end up doing is I use the factory 6.2 diesel, what's it called? The master for a 6.2 diesel. Let me see if I can get that in there. And then, because if you ever see a factory 6.2 diesel, truck with the actual foot pedal, you'll see that Chevy has actual supports going to the firewall. I made up my own under the dash, and then I jimmy rigged up my own system there for the linkage. Hopefully you guys can see that. Yeah, so let's go underneath the truck. Before we go underneath the truck, we gotta go check out the turbo system though. So we got an HE40. It's been bored out to a 6767. She goes pretty good, like a hot Dan there. We're running a valve cover breather vent. Now we went through the motor, we resealed it, put new bearings in, all this stuff. But just to help out in the long run, I like running those breathers, especially if you're pushing big boost numbers like how we are here. Alright, now to the underneath side. Okay, now we're under the truck. Oh, let me grab a light. Is my light there? Oh, thanks, I can't see anything. Now we are under the truck. So as I said before, we have a NV4500. How I do up the mounts is I take the factory Chevy cross member, I weld up the factory big holes there, and then I weld a 1/8 plate for extra support on that factory NV45 bushing there. And then behind the NV45 we adapted the Dodge 205 behind it, so you got to go from a 23 spline to a 29 spline. You got to bore out the housing 10 millimeters. If you guys want to know more information on that, I'm pretty sure there's lots online, or give me a comment down below. Dana 60 front, just to handle the weight of that Cummins. You guys are probably gonna be, look at those shocks. Why didn't you change the shocks? They're coming in the mail. And then we got a 4-inch exhaust, goes all the way back, even added the muffler on there. And then as you guys can see, I added in the traction bars. And you guys are probably looking at this cross member that it's not very factory. I ended up fabbing up this cross member. You can see the brake lines, I use that to run. But the cool thing about this cross member is I also attached a 205 TK support onto it. So not only do you got the one cross member, but now you got the two cross members supporting that big ass heavy transmission with that big Cummins. Make sure when you guys do stuff like this, you go about checking your driveline angles. If you guys don't know how to check driveline angles, I'm sure there's videos, or if you want, I'll make a video on checking driveline angles one of these days. But we got the traction bars going to the 14-bolt full floater. You guys are probably also curious about what I use for motor mounts. Let's go back up top here. Motor mounts. I've used the same motor mounts in all the trucks that I ever built. We use the Chevy clamshell style. You get them through Summit Racing, but what I end up doing is I go to Energy Suspension and I get their upgraded rubber bushing for the clamshell. It takes away a lot of the movement, vibration, all that bad stuff that nobody likes. And then same thing for the cross member. Probably get a better shot right here. Same thing for the cross member. We use the Summit Racing one, clears perfectly. You can still kind of drop that pan down, but it gets a little tricky. Don't forget, you got to notch out the front cross member as well, or else you'll run into clearance issues there. So that is Big Rhonda for you. Let's go and take this bad boy for a drive.
Yep.
Alright boys, so here we are, we're rolling. So she's pretty mint. You guys can see the nice gauges here. You can get the nice pod clusters here for the spur body. They make them now. They always, actually, okay, I'm sorry. They've always made them, but now there's multiple companies now that actually make them, and they're a lot more affordable than what they once were, and they look awesome. They're absolutely great. We've got this nice patina wood steering wheel now. Give her a fucking toot. Oh yeah, fucking rocket in the crowd, boys. They always love us when you drive the good old square bogs. Yeah, but like, no, it's not bad here. It's pretty good. Like we were saying, we were making lots of boost here. Get a close up on that little boost gauge there. Give her a little. We got traffic up there. We got the light. The light's never fun. No, it's never good, but turn signals all work. We got good old power windows here because we're luxury. But yeah, no, it's a great little truck here. The 4th Cummins swap truck I've done in my professional, not so professional career. And yeah, it's a lot of fun building them. It's a lot of work building them. Things are getting harder and harder to find. God damn, she goes off the line pretty good there. I gotta admit that 215 pump, it's a different animal. Now, the thing about the 215 pumps are good. Oh fuck, we're not going there. Oh no, Travis got caught drinking and driving.
No, it's a we keep going.
Travis filming. Fuck, Travis got filmed. Travis got caught drinking and driving. Oh fuck. Oh no. I was like, oh fuck, that's a no-no. You don't want to turn down that street there. Oh no, poor guy. Well, I had my whole route planned out in my head, now it screwed me up. You gotta find a nice straight stretch here. Open her up. I was like, holy fuck. Oh yeah. Gotta put some Dynomat in. Get rid of most of that road noise. That's never a fun thing. Especially, it's not that bad, the road noise. It's typical square body. It's a square body thing. Oh shit. Oh, right here we go. We can do a nice pull here. No cops, no nothing. Get an eye on that boost game there. Oh shit. I don't think it's a good idea to do full when red light ahead. Yeah, shit. Well, yeah, this is more harder than what I thought it was gonna be. Oh, should have just done this at Mission. We had this bad boy there at the track. We were doing 18s. No traction in the rear end. Doesn't matter how fast you build the truck, you got no traction, you're gonna go slow. Word in the mice. Alright, get on that boot skis, we're gonna pull here in third. We're half on that fucking stop switch. You only have half the power right now. It's good, it's a good limiter for you, bad limiter for me. But that's okay, we'll fix that later. Well guys, if you want to see more Cummins stuff, diesel tech stuff, give me a like on my video here and give me a follow on my channel. And I'll be sure to make more content for you guys in the coming future. Thanks guys.